What's up, guys? Welcome to Under the Arc Sports. I'm Eric, and today I'm going to go on a mini rant about the whole Cuonzo Martin contract situation. Before I go off on that, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and Instagram. So, with Mizzou having lost 4 out of 5 games in incredibly frustrating fashion, there are lots of people on social media, Facebook, and whatever else up in arms about Cuonzo Martin, want him fired. It's not going to happen. Um, I want to spell out all the reasons that it's not going to happen, just because I like to see people give opinions that come from an educated perspective. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So, reason number one, Cuonzo Martin is not getting fired after this basketball season is that prior to May 1st, it is illegal for Mizzou to fire him without cause. If he has a legal issue or he is found out to have been committing all these NCAA violations to get all of the stellar recruits that he's gotten, then that's one thing. But Mizzou cannot fire him for not winning enough games prior to May 1. And even then, it would be a $6 million buyout. That's $6 million that Mizzou does not have. Mizzou is already paying Cuonzo Martin the most expensive coaching contract in Mizzou basketball history. He is making $21 million over 7 years. His first year was $2.7 million, and it's added $100,000 to his salary every season. So in year 4 of this contract this season, he's making an even $3 million. For comparison's sake, Kim Anderson was making like 1.6, maybe 1.8 million. Nowhere near what Cuonzo's making now. So you're paying that much money, and you're talking about the COVID era. Mizzou had 15,000 people able to go to football games. They got 3,000 people able to go to basketball games. They're not getting ticket revenue. They don't have the money to pay a $6 million buyout. Yeah, if you take a look at, just so everyone knows what I'm talking about, we've got a chart here pulled directly from Cuonzo Martin's contract, and you'll notice that the language says that the buyout is $6 million between May 1, 2020 and April 30th, 2021. And then it breaks down how the year after is $3 million, $1 million, and $300,000 for a buyout. You need to note that there's a clause in the contract stipulating that if Cuonzo Martin takes the team to the NCAA tournament, which he did in the 2018 Michael Porter Jr. Circus show of a season, that moves everything 1 year later. So because of that, May 1st, 2020 becomes May 1st, 2021, and that's the earliest Mizzou can fire Cuonzo without cause. So there's that. You're also talking about firing a guy who had his team in the top 10 in February. Granted, I don't know. They didn't stay long, but they've been ranked most of the season. This season as a whole is overachieving and a sign of progress. Just look at how bad years 2 and 3 were. So that makes it even harder to fire Cuonzo, is because he can point to definite progress with his program. Then you look at the fact that Mizzou is not some team. They're not a blue blood, and I don't think anybody would say they were. But they're also not a team that is at that next level below a blue blood. The Mizzou basketball program has not won an NCAA tournament game since 2010, coming up on 11 years. If you remember, they played Clemson in a 7-10 matchup. That's the last game they won in the NCAA tournament. That you can't act like you're some elite basketball program. The recruits that Cuonzo's going after, they only know Mizzou as a team that's been mediocre at best with a couple years of being a complete dumpster fire. So Mizzou has to operate in that reality. And for people in probably, I'd say 40 and older, that's probably a tough pill to swallow. Going back to the Norm days and even the early Quinn Snyder days. For younger people, that's a little easier. I'm 33. I was what? I I was like when I was 12 years old when Norm Stewart left. So, that's easier for me. Now, you can look at the idea of extending Cuonzo Martin. You do it for recruiting purposes, if nothing else. Maybe you got faith in the guy, maybe you don't. But on the recruiting trail, a snake oil salesman like Bruce Pearl or John Calipari can go up to recruit and say, "Oh, you're considering Mizzou." You know, Cuonzo Martin's got 3 years left on his deal. That first year is your senior year of high school. Then those last two are your first 2 years there. What about your junior senior year? What's going on there? Who's going to coach? And Mizzou doesn't have an answer for when that question is put in front of a recruit. The only way to do that is to extend Cuonzo Martin and say, "Look, the university has faith in me. I am under contract throughout your projected time on campus. That's one thing you do not have to worry about." And you have to do that. On the surface, it's counterintuitive if you don't think he's the guy, but that's part of the game with recruiting. So, an extension is probably going to happen. I just want to warn everybody who wants Cuonzo fired right now, no matter what. He's probably going to get an extension, particularly if the team does any sort of damage in the NCAA tournament. Now, I want to make it clear. I am not a huge Cuonzo Martin guy. I was very bleh on the hire when it was announced. I go with the description that everyone seems to say: high floor, low ceiling. In a regular season, I think he's going to win you 19 to 21 games almost every year if he can ever get recruiting going. And that's better than Kim Anderson, but I want better in the long run. So we'll see if that's going to happen. But if Cuonzo Martin gets fired, it's not going to be this season. Probably not going to be after next season, especially if there's any sort of tournament run next month. Anyway, that is my rant. Thank you for listening to it. Please, if you're going to talk about Cuonzo Martin, do so using the facts. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.